So you are just starting your NEMT business and you want to make 6 or 7 figures. It may sound, far-fetched right now, but stick around in this video and I'm going to share with you some tips that I believe that help me in my journey, help you in your journey. To the channel, I am Dante, and here at NEMT University, I am a NEMT, a business owner, as well as a person that wants to come on here and help educate or share my experiences in helping you on your journey to starting your NEMT business. And in this video, I want to talk to you about, I'm going to start off with 6 figures in this particular industry, right? I haven't made it to 7 figures, so I don't know anything about that, so I'll just leave that, put that disclaimer out there right now. But 6 figures, I've seen it multiple times. And with that being said, I want to share with you, a skill that you should have when you are entering this space. So let's get into the video. We got all that out the way. So as I said, I've been in this space since 2016, and as a driver, and later on as a business owner. So what I have learned throughout my journeys is I enjoy what they call private pay, where you talk directly to medical facility personnel, whether it's the administrator, whether it's the social worker, whoever that is in charge of transportation. I want to speak directly to that particular person. And when it comes to building up your business and your black book or your Rolodex, there's something that we all need to do. And that thing is, we need to get acquainted with the personnel, as I was stating before, of who directly you need to speak with. Reason why you need to do that is because these people are the ones that's going to tell you what their pain points are. Okay, what is a pain point? For instance, a dialysis clinic that I spoke with, right? I had a conversation with, right? Went into that particular establishment and basically was introducing myself, and I wanted to leave my my brochure. It's a trifold brochure. Oh, I had to sit and find. I should have been sure, right? And wanted to drop out the brochure. And in the midst of that conversation, the administrator lady that I was speaking with, her name was Sarah, she was telling me about how she was having a problem with, the previous NEMT provider would never show up on time. That's red flag number 1. So I put that in the back of my mind. So this particular provider is not providing trips. She's not providing. They are not providing trips that are punctual. Can I be punctual? I'm thinking in the back of my mind. So all I got to do is be on time, and I can possibly get this contract. Duly noted. But then, you may probe questions like, okay, so how long have you been working with this provider? Just to get an insight on what's going on with that particular contract between, the facility and the provider that's providing this transportation. Oh, it's been about like a year. Okay, it's been a year. Then you might let them continue to talk. Okay, so while they continue to talk, they're going to tell you a little bit more. Yeah, but I end up, we signed a contract for 2 years. Oh, so it's a 2-year contract. So now you're getting a little bit more information. So if we had year 1, that means they had a year to go. But they have basically an at-will contract where either party can decide to separate. So if they decide to separate, then that makes room for another provider, right? So in the midst of that conversation, so how can I help you with assisting you with your transportation trips? Do you need somebody that's going to be punctual, as well as do I need to have or does this person have a wheelchair, or wheelchair van, or is it ambulatory? You know, I'm trying to get a feel of what type of services that the NMT provider is providing. And once I, continue to, let them talk, and then I come back with a question that I'm trying to figure out where I can fill a void at that they're lacking, then it presents an opportunity for me to, present myself. At the same time, I'm still going to present my opportunity anyways. I'm just going to, just slightly lead with the type of services I have, and what I also have available as far as wheelchair accessible vehicles and or ambulatory. And at the time, in particular for this particular contract or this particular facility, only working with at that time it was only that one ambulatory vehicle. So I let them know exactly what I had and what was available throughout that conversation. I didn't leave with that. I just needed to listen to that particular administrator so I can figure out what they need. Now, another thing that you can do when you're going to, we're going to stick with reaching out to medical facilities, because this is where you're going to be able to make your money. And I know we're in the business of helping people, but at the end of the day, we need money. Must be the money. Must be the money. I think that's about Deion Sanders, right? Must be the money. Now, if you can feel a pain point or a problem that any facility has, we're problem solvers. So all we want to do is we want to come in, we want to solve problems, right? If you can figure that out, you are on your way to easy $10,000 a month. I don't want to make that always sound like the golden ticket, because $10,000 a month is always on there. That's one of my that's what my book is about. My curriculum is about. Making that $10,000 a month, because when a person is able to do that consistently, they know they can basically leave their job, right? That's like a mile marker that somebody wants to set. I don't know if it's $5,000 or $10,000. But one of those, in between that 5 and 10, is where people basically can be like, okay, well, yeah, I can just leave this job, and then I can be able to, provide for my family if I make this amount of money. That's where the market research comes in at too as well. Research, how much, if you have one vehicle, what is it going to cost you to, what is your insurance is going to be? How much is it going to be cost to, for your gas every week? How much it is for oil changes and tire rotations and things like that, little maintenance and things. And then you can figure out what you're going to pay yourself, if you're going to pay yourself in the first year. You know what I'm saying? Things like that comes into play, where knowing how much money that you're going to need in order for you to be able to sustain your lifestyle or have a better lifestyle than what you have working at a job. Now, don't get me wrong, you'll get your time and freedom back. Well, that it may not happen, because you might be putting a lot of hours into your own business as opposed to somebody else's. But it'd be better. It's all for the better of your benefit, right? At the end of the day, because eventually you can hire drivers, and then you'll be hands off. That's for another video. But this video, we're talking about finding a problem that these facilities have, and you're solving that problem. So if the other facility has punctuation problems, being tardy for trips, then you just come in and be on time. If they have, what is another problem that I ran into throughout the years? Oh, vehicles. Dirty, unmaintained vehicles. You will be surprised at the amount of medical facilities that run into these problems, that have vehicles breaking down during trips, and somebody has to come back in and fix that situation, or they have to wait for another, have the facility, not the facility, but the provider find another person to pick up that trip. So the more of the story is, you have to figure out what their pain point is and how are you going to solve their problem, so you can win that particular contract with that person, with that particular medical facility. Because there's many facilities out there. Like I said, there's dialysis, there's cancer treatments, there is oncologists, there is physical therapy, there is seniors assisted living, there's student transportation. Like there are so many sectors of the medical field that you can provide transportation for, and all you have to do is figure out who you need to talk to, get to that person. Another thing I want to give a key point, I'll put it up here somewhere on the screen. Go in person, so they can get to familiarize themselves with who you are and what you do. Because as you come into these facilities, they're gonna ask you, understand, what do you do, and how can I help you, or you leading with, I'm a transportation provider, this is what I do, blah blah blah. I don't always come in that strong, You can basically fill out the situation as you are frequently going to these places. And I would, if I were you, you don't have to use this information, but if I were you, I'm not say 25 to 40 medical facilities within your little radius in your county, I would map them out. I would have a list, and Monday through Friday, I would reach out to them via in person. Me personally, in person, but you do it how you want to do. But each day you will have 5 to 10 people that you are contacting. And if you understand what in person means, like, it's nothing like seeing a person face to face. Like, you can talk to them over the phone or via email. Via email is, I would say, that was the last. That should be your follow up. That will always be your follow up. I wouldn't lead with the email. Emails get lost in translation. Some of them don't get open. The open rate on emails, is very, very slim. You might get a 3% open rate. So I would say go in person. So this video is just to let you know that the money is in the follow up as well as the initial contact, so we can figure out how to solve the problem. We are problem solvers. If you can figure out how to solve problems, you're going to make a lot of money in this industry. Just to let you know. But the main thing is, a person has to know what you do and what type of service that you provide. And once they figure that out, then you can cut to the chase and figure out how, if there's a problem that they have, how you can solve that problem. And like I said, there's many problems that they could have. They could be they don't like the way that this medical NEMT provider, transports their patients. They might have got a complaint that they drive too fast. The driver drives too fast. You know what I'm saying? It could be something as minimal as that. But you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know this if you did not reach out to them and talk to them, and they give you this information. So look, do me a favor. Hey, like the video, share the video. If you have questions, shoot them in the comments. And then also, we have a NEMT community that is free to anybody that wants to join. I go live over there and try to give information over there. We also have, this is like templates and things like that to help you on your journey. It's nemtuniversity.substack.com. Hopefully this video helped you. Like I said, this industry has done a lot of wonders for me. So that's why I'm here, sharing information or things that help me out on my journey. Hopefully it helps you too. I'll see you on the next one. Love, peace, and light. Salute.